Right, our next topic is about functions. So functions is a very tricky topic, right? So I'll try to simplify it as much as I can, right? So what we are talking about today is I'll keep using this text feature, so I would recommend you also to do it as well. So yes, so what we are discussing today is functions. Okay, so this we'll do it in two parts. So today we'll cover some basics, and in the next next module, we'll try to cover it a little more things as well. Okay, now functions is the way I want you to imagine is there are three important pieces in a function. Okay, input, logic, output. So these are the three important things in a function, in any function. Like it could be a simple function or a complex function or some utility function, whatever it is, right? So there are three things: input, logic, output. Okay, but David, tell us, what is this function even? How do you write a function? See, a function is nothing but something that you can reuse every time. I'll tell you an example. For example, so remember we wrote about print hello world in our first in our first session, right? So hello world, print hello world. We wrote this in our first, right? And what if you, instead of the world, you put my name and then you print this. Okay, now I'll tell you a more trickier way of doing this. Okay, so first we will try to understand defining a function. Okay, so yes, again, don't forget to add this. So we'll talk about, okay, so this is not, okay, I'm sorry, I should have added it in a text cell, isn't it? Text. Okay, so first we will learn about defining a function. Okay, now define, so let's say we call it hello function. Okay, define. First I'll write it and I'll tell you how to what am I actually doing. Okay, print hello world and then run this. Okay, now if you just do hello, if you just call this function, it will automatically run what is happening inside this. Okay, so David, lots of things happened. What are you doing here? It's very simple. So every time you start with a word called DEF, so which is nothing but you're defining something. That's what DEF stands for. So DEF, then this is your function name. So in this case, my function name is hello. Then you put couple of normal braces, right? And then a colon. So every time you put something important, something like a condition or a function, you end it with a colon. Then after colon you put whatever you want to do. So in this case, let us go back to what we discussed in the start. So we discussed about input, logic, output. So let us try to write what is the input here. Input is which is inside braces. Is there anything inside braces for this hello function? No, right? So put no. Now logic, what is the logic? So just print hello world, right? So print is the logic. Then, right, so output, you get this output hello world, right? So you actually get this hello world output. Okay, so input, logic, output. Now for example, you can also, so this is called calling a function, right? So just to be clear, so how do you, once you create a function, so how do you use this function is by calling. So that is called calling a function. Okay, I'll put it here. Okay, so this is called calling a function. You call the function with its function name. So this is called function name and couple of braces, so which will tell that this is actually a function. If you just do hello, this will not understand what are you trying to do actually. So this is just telling you that this is a function, right? But if you do this, it will actually run the function and give you the output as well. Okay, Now the next thing is, so my input here was nothing, right? Now what if I give my name? Okay, so let us see how do you actually pass something inside this function. So that you can do. So let us copy the same code. Okay, let us copy the same code whatever we had in the beginning, and here let us pass something called name. Okay, so any name, okay, name, and then instead of world we use this name. Okay, so here I'm using something called f strings. I'll explain you about f strings although in also in this. So you put flower brackets, then name. Okay, now run this. I'll show you first and then I'll explain. Okay, hello, and put my name David. Run this, it will give you hello David. Okay, if I put my full name, it will give you the full name as well. If you put Python, it gives you Python. If you put your name, let's say your name is Satish, it gives you Satish. Let's say your name is Rajesh, it gives you Rajesh. Isn't this amazing, right? So this is called function with parameters. Okay, so what is this? We'll put a text. It's called function with parameters. Sometimes it's called params, right? So in a shortcut world, so parameters or params. So what is my parameter here? Name. Okay, so this is a third thing that we saw. I'll put number 3 here, right? So number 1, we defined a function. Number 2, we called a function. Number 3, we actually passed a parameter. Okay, now so David, what was that f thing that you did? So this f it's called f string because so whatever you type inside, it's called a string. Okay, it's called a string. So this one is called a string. But if you put f in the start and put something inside it, it's called f string. Okay, so that's the name of f string. Now the beauty of this f string is you can pass these parameters, right? So that parameters can be passed using curly braces. You put anything inside this name. So for example, let's say I define name is equals to my name, and then run this. This f string automatically gives you this parameter. So you whatever you call it. For example, let's say I give it for example, let's say cricketer. Okay, so and then cricketer, instead of David you put Dravid, and then you pass cricketer, right? And then you can actually see this, right? Isn't it amazing? You can actually use f strings in a very amazing way as well. Like for example, let's say you have country. So country is India, and let's say you have capital, and capital is New Delhi. You put an f string saying f. So let's use print because that is easy. So inside print you can have this f string. So what do you say? New Delhi is the capital of India, right? So now you type it this way, right? So New Delhi is the capital city of India. But now let us replace this India with country. Okay, how do you replace? Put flower brackets, put country, right? And replace this New Delhi with a capital, and that's all. Okay, now you run this. Okay, I've put, it's my mistake. Yes, spelling mistake. You can see New Delhi is the capital of India. Like for example, you replace it with anything that you want. Let's say we go with Australia. What's the capital of Australia? Okay, it's actually Canberra, right? So now you run this, you actually get Canberra is the capital city of Australia. Isn't this amazing? So that's what f strings are. Okay, so this was just a side topic to help you understand what are these f strings. Okay, so I'm just putting this. These are called f strings. A very important topic, especially when you're dealing with print statements and all. It's very handy. Okay, so that's why I wanted to cover this aspect as well, right? Now finally, before we close this session, so let us cover one more thing, which is nothing but, So we have seen input, we have seen the logic, right? And then it is trying to print something. Okay, now what if I want to do some actual, like let's say some maths, and then return something? Okay, so this is called returning something. The function actually returns you something. Okay, so what do I mean? Like for example, I have two numbers and add these two numbers. Okay, so that is I want to create a function, right? So I want you to pause the video and try creating a function which will add two numbers, right? I'll pause it, do it. Okay, I hope you paused it. So let me show you how. So define, so let's say add, I will call it add numbers, right? So for simplicity, and pass two values x comma y. You can pass multiple parameters. Okay, x comma y colon. Now what you do is, for example, you can just do something like print x plus y. Okay, run this, and what does it do? Add numbers, let's say 5 comma 6. You run this, so what does it give you? It gives you 11. Okay, but okay, so this is David, this is already giving the output that I need. What do you want me to return, right? Now for example, let's say I put some variable v, and it stores whatever is coming from this function. Okay, add numbers 5 comma 6. Okay, I run this. Okay, now let me try to access this v. What does it say? It does not give you anything because you are just printing it, right? You are not returning anything. For you to return, what you have to do is not printing, but you have to return x plus y. Okay, so now you do it, right? So it gives you the same output, but if I run this v and now try to access this v, so this v actually stores the value of addition of two numbers. So that is the powerful nature of this return. You can actually access the answer of this function. So this is called function with a return value. Okay, so let's type it here. So number 4, function with return value. So this is what we've returned here. In this case, it is just addition of two numbers. So let's recall what happened in this module. Function, so we got to know that function has three things: input, logic, output. How do you define a function? You put this def keyword, function name, then couple of braces, colon, you put whatever you want, right? How do you call this function? Basically you are trying to access this function, so hello, couple of braces, this will give you hello world. Then function with parameters, so you pass a a name, right? You can see hello of name, and then automatically it will give you that name, right? So you change that name, automatically it will change, right? So that's the reusability of the function is what makes it so powerful. Then we covered a little bit of f strings as well. So f strings are very powerful. You can pass dynamic elements inside f string. Then the last one, function with a return value. What if you want to use the final answer of the function? You just add this word return, and then whatever input you have, whatever computation you are doing, you return it, and then that will be stored in the assigned variable. So that's all for this module. See you in the next one.